Okay, so good evening. This is our fourth session for solid geometry, and we will be talking about cones and pyramids. Okay, so ang cone mo ni siya itong formula. So by definition, ang cone is a three-dimensional geometric shape that that tapers smoothly from a flat base to a point called the apex or vertex. So mura siyang cylinder. Nakalahi lang, di ba? Cylinder na now. Ang nakalahi lang is that tapering siya. Meaning to say, nag-decrease ang iyahang, kani ba? Kaning diri paana siya ba? Hantod sa maabot sa point nga, abot ka dira hantod sa kana na kana, hantod sa point na lang ka rather. So kana siya mo na ang ginatawag nila na apex or vertex. So mo na itong mga formulas, volume, lateral surface area, and the total surface area. So same lang gihapon actually, nadugangan lang siya 1/3 and 1/2. Murag na lang si plot twist. So, area of base times height. Di ba, mo dito naara na to na formula. Kaso lang nadugangan siya 1/3 diri times nakag 1/3 to get the volume. Ang lateral surface area, same lang gihapon. Perimeter of base, kaso lang times slant height. The slant height is this. Kani siya, kaning perpendicular, kana siya, kanang h na to. That is the height ha. Pero ang kailangan nato to get the lateral surface area is the slant height. So, be mindful of that na. And then, times nakag 1/2. And again, ang definition of total surface area is still the lateral surface area plus the area sa imong base. So, ato lang kasimple ang cones class. So, nalang siya plot twist gamay, the 1/3 and the 1/2. And be mindful of the slant height for the lateral surface area. So, solve the example problems ha. So, say for example, find the volume of each of the circular cones shown below. Okay, so hinahinay ta ha. Kani sa first na to, kani siya. So, volume ang ginapangita, di ba? So, ang volume, again, by definition, is 1/3 area sa base times the height. So, diri sa tong first figure, given naman tanan, given na diameter, so that means to say, radius is 6. Given na pod ang imuhang height. Okay? So, again ha, be mindful na sa volume, height ang ginapangita. Kani siya mismo. Kanang straight gid ba? Kanang perpendicular padulong sa base. Ang imong lateral surface area mo to imong slant height imong need. So, be mindful ha. So, kani 1/3. Pila area sa imong base. Circle naman imong base, di ba? So, pi r squared lang ka. So, imong radius is 6. Squared ka dira. Then, times 14, which is the height. So, solve ko ana, inyong makuha is bila man. It's 168 pi. That is the volume. So, kaning second figure na to, volume ang ginapangita, given kag radius, so good siya. Kaso lang ang given diri a class is instead sa height, ang gihatag sa problem is the slant height. And for you to get the volume, what you need is not the slant height, but you need the height itself. Itong perpendicular gid sa inyong base. So, wala tay choice but to solve for the height. Okay, how do we do that? Simple lang class. Just draw, of course, draw a straight line. Ano lang. Perpendicular man ni siya. Anang h. Given na tanan, atong triangle. Inani lang atong triangle. Sorry, pangit. This is your height. This is 2, which is the radius of the base. And mo ng 6. So, Pythagorean theorem lang na siya. You have 6 squared equal to h squared plus 2 squared. Solving for h, you get what? Solve ko class. You get 4 square root of 2. Tama? So, karon na kay radius and you have the height. Therefore, you can now solve for the volume. So, solving for the volume, what do we get? That is 1/3. Area of the base, so pi r squared lang ka. Kaya again, circle imong base. So, pi, radius is 2, so squared. Then, times the height, 4 square root of 2. Pa-solve ko, pila yung makuha. Yun lang ha. Okay, so ang sinukuha ninyo, ang inyong nakuha is 23.7. Okay, sige. So, muna to siya for the second figure. For the third figure, so cone lang siya, hiwi lang siya gamay, pero still, same lang gihapon imong formula, 1/3 base times height lang gihapon na siya. Ang problema lang, basig malibog mo class, ang base ma'am, dali lang siya makuha, kay na mag-given naman ang diameter. So, 6 ay mga radius, tama? Pero unsay height imong gamiton ma'am, okay? Kani bang 8? Okay, since naa siya sa tunga, dili kas. Ang iyang gamiton gyud na height is katog yung gikan sa apex, pababa ka pa vertical, ay pababa gid ka pa perpendicular padulong sa imong base. Therefore, ang imong gamiton na h is kani siya. Kuha ninyo. So, kana siya makuha gyapon na to using what? Pythagorean theorem lang. Kay perpendicular man ni siya. So, right triangle lang ka. 8 na siya given sa problem and 6. So, divide by 2 lang imong 12 to get the radius. So, sige, solving for h, you get h squared mo nino equal to h squared plus 6 squared. So, solve to h. Pila yung makuha nyo na h? It's 2 square root of 7. Tama? So, solve na po niyo may mong volume. So, 1/3. What is your base? Pi r squared lang hapon, no? Kay circle man. So, 6 squared. Tapos, imong height, na-solve na nato, which is 2 square root of 7. You get what? It's what? 199.5. That is your volume class. Okay? Wait lang class ha. Okay, so for the fourth figure, last figure for this problem, still gapon ko ako na to ato ang volume. Given ang, okay, kabuluta sa radius, which is 3, ang problema lang is to get the height, kana ang height. And given sa problem is, instead the slant height, like this one, second figure na to, ang gihatag sa problem is angle na noon. Okay? So, solve gihapon na siya using sokatawa lang. So, unsa may nice gamiton? Sokatawa. Si sine, cosine, or tangent. So, for this one, ang naaman sa to is not the hypotenuse, pero ang nasa to is the adjacent side and the opposite side. So, the uh, best thing to use is ang tangent na to. So, tangent 50 degrees is equal to, so katawa man no, towa. So, towa. So, kapag tangent, that is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So, what is your opposite? That is your height. What is the adjacent side? What is the adjacent? That is the radius, which is 3. So, solve na to itong h. Pila si h plus. Sa atong calculator ha, dapat ato ang h, sorry, atong degree, yeah, the degrees should, no, the angle should be in degrees. Basig naka-radians mo yung calculator. So, sige daw, solve daw. Yung makuha na answer is 3.58, no? Okay, kuha na. So, masolve na po na to itong volume. 1/3 base times height lang ka. Given naman tanan, nasolve na to. So, 1/3. Base is pi r squared lang ka. So, pi 3 squared. Height is, nasolve na, 3.58. Solving for volume, how much do we get? It's 33.7. And that's it. Ato lang kasimple just to get the volume. Basta be mindful lang na for the volume, you need the height. For the lateral surface area, again, stated here, you need the slant height. And kaning ha, don't forget the 1/3 sa start. Right, sige. Solve ta for next problem. Okay, so proceeding to the next problem, we have find the volume of a right circular cone to be obtained from a sector of radius 26 centimeters and whose central angle measured 138.5 degrees. Okay, so ang iyang pasabot lang is na kay sector. So let's draw the sector na ang noun. Okay, assuming nakabalo mo unsa na ang sector ha. Assume ta na. Ano si mga given sa sector? Given ang imuhang unsa man. Kahit tag color para ma-imagine. Sa sector, mo ni imuhang radius. A sector is like a part of a circle. Kumbaga, Kung mag-draw ko og imaginary circle, inana ba? Circle ni ha, pangit lang ko pagka-draw. Inana ba? It's like, kini ang center, it's nagkuha lang kag part of it. So, kani mo radius, di ba? Which is already given sa problem, that is 26 centimeters. And kani siya na part, change na ko color ha. Kani siya diri the outer part, that is, let's say that is S. Okay? So, ang point lang sa problem is kaning sector, gifold siya such that mahimo siyang cone. So, kana siya, gifold siya in a way, mahimo siyang cone. So, ang cone is, di ba, wait lang ha, change na tong color. Para ma-imagine lang gid ninyo ha. Ana, di ba, ang cone, after folding this, like, is imagine a piece of paper in a form of a sector, tas inyong i-fold, di ba, you form, like, a sector, like a cone, kung inyong siyang i-fold. Imagine ninyo? Sige. So, kung inyong nang imagine ng gitarong class, pag fold ninyo, kani di ba na side, kana siya, o kana siya. Di ba, that is, kani, radius of the circle. Okay, pero, ilang atong gamiton na term ha. Kay mo na ang proper term for like it's like the edge or the slant height. Pero ilang atong gamiton. Mo na siya ang imong kana. Kuha na ta. So mo na siya. Tapos kung inyo pong taro i-analyze gyud, kani atong S diri ang kanang S ato ang circular cone ay sa atong sa kani sector. Pag fold ninyo, di ba mao man ni siya? Ma-imagine na ninyo, mo na siya, which is the circumference of the base. Tama? So, atong goal is, from the data that we have, pangitaon na to ang volume sa right circular cone na to na form. So, how do we do that, man? So, let's start with what we have, which is ang sector mismo. So, for the sector, given ka og 138.5 degrees, given ka 26 na radius, and unsa ba formula sa sector ang nakabalota? Di ba we have a formula of the sector na area of the sector is equal to 1 half RS, or another formula for that is 1 half R squared theta. Tama? Where R is the radius of the sector and S is kani, kana siya. Theta is this angle here, but if you are to use this formula class, kini 1 half R squared theta, be mindful lang na if you are to use this formula, dapat imuhang angle must be in radians, dili dapat siya in degrees. Okay, be mindful of that lang. Sige, so okay, so if you are to use this formula, and so may naa na ta, diba you have 1 half, do we have the radius? Yes, we have the radius, that is 26. Do we have S? I don't think so, so wala, S lang ta. Equal to 1 half. Do we have the radius? Again, yes, we have radius, that is 26 squared. Do you have theta, class? Yes, that is 138.5 degrees. Pero again, be mindful lang na if you are to use this formula, kani siya na formula, the theta there should be in radians. Okay? So, you have to convert this 138.5 degrees to radians. So, how do we do that? So, lang. Conversion lang. So, pi over 180. Every 180 degrees, that is pi radians. So, there we have it, class. We have one equation, one unknown. Ang unknown is kinsa, si S. Siya lang ang unknown, dili ang equation, di ba? So, you can solve for S now. So, solving for S, what do we get? Atong nakuha is 62.85 centimeters, right? Okay, and again, class, as discussed kanina, let me change the color lang. Di ba S is this, and S is like equivalent lang of the circumference of the circle, right? S is equivalent to the circumference of the circle of the base of the right circular cone, right? And again, what is the formula for, okay, This is 68, this is 2.85, di ba? What is the formula of a circumference? Di ba, circumference is just 2 pi r. We know the circumference, therefore we can now solve for the radius, right? So, 62.85 divided by 2 pi, how much is the radius, class? Pasolve ko. Okay, you get what? 10 centimeters. Okay, so, oh, there we have the radius. Again, what is the volume gani? Di ba, volume is 1/3 base times height. You need to solve for the base and you need to solve for the height. Ang base, class, can we solve it na ba? Yes, di ba? We can now solve for the area of the base. Nga naman, kay we know already the value of the radius. Okay, ang base, pi r squared lang ka. So that's pi 10 squared. How much is the area of the base? That is obviously 100 pi. So goods na ka sa imuhang area of the base. The problem lang now is that we don't know how much is the value of our height. Okay, if you are to draw this cone, height is kani, di ba? That is your height. So, pero masolve siya, di ba? Kaya nga naman, kani, the radius itself, we already know it's 10 centimeters. And we know the slant height. Kani, oh, we know it, di ba? Given na siya sa problem, which is basically just the radius of the sector. Kung imo lang siyang i-rearrange it to a cone, it becomes a slant height. So, pila ni? There is, asa na to? 26. So, ano to siya? Natay right triangle, h 26 then. So, solving for h, that is 26 squared, tama ba? Equal to 10 squared plus h squared. Solving for h, what do we get? That is around 24 centimeters. So now we have the height, now we have the area of the base. We can now solve for what? The volume. So volume is just 1/3 area of the base times height. That is 1/3. How much is the area of the base, baklas? 100 pi. How much is your height? That is 24. So how much is your volume? That is 800 pi, right? Okay. That is 800 pi centimeter cube. That is your volume for this problem, class. Okay? Sige. So, next problem ta. Alright, so, I guess this is the last problem for cones, ha? Okay, sige. So, a cone and a cylinder have the same radius and the same volume. Find the ratio of the height of the cone to the height of the cylinder. So, sige. I-read na ko, ha? So, you have a cone, cylinder, and then you have a cone. That, so say for example, this is your height. Height man ang ginapangita, ratio of the height man. So this is your height of the cone. Capital H for cylinder, small letter H for the cone. Ano sa pag-iingon sa problem? They have the same radius and they have the same volume. Sige. So say volume sa imuhang cone, ay sa imuhang tawagan ni cylinder. 'Di ba? It's just area of the base multiplied by the height. Mo na ihang volume. How about the volume of the cone? Diba, it's 1/3 area of the base times height. Take note, class, ha? Ang area sa base sa imuhang cylinder is just equal to the area of the base of your cone. Why? Kay same lang ba sila radius. Therefore, pi r squared lang sila both. Having the same radius, then they have the same area as well. Okay? So, mo to siya. Same, ha? Be mindful of that. Same ilahang base, area sa base, because they have the same radius lang. And another thing is they have the same volume. So, pila daw ang ratio sa height of the cylinder and height sa imong cone. Ano no, ang ginapangita di ay sa problem is the ratio of the height of the cone to the height of the cylinder. So, H over capital H. Lahi si H over H, the capital H over the small letter H. Kay kung kani imo hang gamiton, class, what you're getting is the ratio of the height of the cylinder to the height of the cone. Pero the problem is asking for the ratio of the height of the cone to the height of the cylinder. So it should be small letter h over capital H. So, okay, what do we get? Unsa ba pwede na to? Mahimo. So, kani siya, atong mga equation sa volume, and the volume here, you can rearrange that. Diba? How much is 8 ba? If i-rearrange na to ni, diba, H is just 3V over B. So, 3V over B ni siya. All over, kani, oh, rearrange na siya, class. H is what? It's just V over B. Right? So, V over B ni siya, class. Sige, mag-cancel ni sila. Sige, ayun na lang sa, arrange na to, be. What do we get? 3VB over VB. Cancel ni sila. Cancel na sila. Pilay na bilin. 3. This is what? This is your ratio, class. That is the ratio of the height of the cone to the height of the cylinder, and that's it. Okay, so that's all for cylinders. So, sorry, that's all for cones. Diba? Ang cones is very easy lang, class. Kay simple lang iyang formula. 1/3 area of base times height. Ang lateral surface area is 1/2 perimeter of base times the slant height. So, be mindful lang yun. So, 1/3 and 1/2 niya to. And kaning slant height na to for the lateral surface area. So, kana lang yun. You just have to be very careful lang yun. Ha? Sige, so I hope wala yung questions, no? Kaya mag-proceed na ko sa to ang next topic for this video. And I hope I'm not too fast. So, I guess 20 minutes in at